Hi Flosstube, it's Kippy, the Academic Stitcher. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope everyone is staying well, staying sane after a month being prisoners in our own home. Uh, I think, hopefully we're not going too terribly stir crazy. Those of us who are stitchers, we have plenty to keep us busy, I suppose. Um, I really been relying on almost daily walks with my dog and running on my own. I have always run or being outside, not always running. I started running again about 3 years ago, but walking for sure. I mean, just getting out and walking. I'm not really an outdoor person, but being able to get out and walk with my dog and now run, it really does help with stress and stuff for me. So thankfully, we're still doing that. And it's been nice. I've lived in this house actually. Let's see what today is April 13th. Um, I moved in um, on April 16th of last year, so I've been in this house almost exactly a year. And I've probably met more of my neighbors in the last month than I did in the 11 months before that, because everyone's out and about and walking. It's a little chilly today. I've got a sweatshirt on. Um, but the weather's been absolutely beautiful, and that's one of the reasons I come out here to record. Um, I I knew when I bought my house that the natural lighting wasn't great, um, but at the time it wasn't a big deal. Now, when I try to record inside, it just the colors on my projects and stuff just don't show up very well. So while I can, I will record outside. It will get the summer. It will get too hot. Living on the South Plains in Texas, it will get very hot. So I will eventually have to move inside. But right now, it's a little bit of a breeze, so it's a little bit chilly, but we're good. And Lucy and I are going to go for a walk later on. So, um, but like I said, I hope everyone is staying well. I hope you're getting lots of stitching done. I hope you're taking advantage of the time with your family that lives in the house with you. Yesterday was Easter, so I hope those of you who celebrate Easter, I hope it was a very blessed time. Um, I missed getting to spend it with my grandsons. Um, I really had some really fun plans, and we just didn't get to do it. But we're saving them. We're saving the Easter eggs, and we're going to hunt them later. So it's just delayed. It's not completely missed, but hopefully that we'll be able to do that sooner rather than later. So, stitching, and I'm so afraid that the sun is going to be a problem. We'll fix it if it is. In the last video, um, I had some questions, and so I wanted to answer those questions. And thank you for asking questions. Thank you for your comments, your kindness. Um, it makes my day. I really do enjoy reading every one of them. And Kathy Harris asked where I get my Monaco and Lugana and what method do I use when I dye fabric. I get the Monaco usually at Fat Quarter Shop. I've tried to find it locally and I can't find it anywhere. I've looked at, of course, now I can't look at Hobby Lobby or Joann's, and we don't have a local needlework shop. So usually I ordered that from Fat Quarter Shop. I like the bigger pieces. It's a little bit more cost effective, I guess. You get a little bit more. I think it's 20 by 24. And the last time I checked, they were sold out of the white and the antique white 20 by 24. They only had the tea dyed. I have done tea dye. I have not RIP dyed the tea dyed Monaco. Okay, let me just because I don't want there to be any confusion. Fat Quarter Shop has 3 colors of Monaco. They have white, antique white, and tea dyed, which is a darker color, and it comes that way in the packaging. I have coffee tea dyed using Priscilla and Chelsea's method. I have coffee tea dyed all of those, and but I did not RIT dye them first. I just coffee tea dyed them. I have not RIT dyed anything. I have not RIT dyed the the pre-tea dyed Monaco. I have not RIT dyed that one, but I have RIT dyed. So many terms. I have RIT dyed the white and the antique white, and that's what I usually buy. And I like the way that both of those take the RIT dye very, very, very nicely. Monaco is 100% cotton, and Lugana has something else, and I'm not really sure what it is, but it takes the dye differently, and that's fun, and that's kind of neat. And I have samples that I'll show you of both of those, but because they're different fabric contents, they take the dye differently. Lugana, I have ordered it from Fat Quarter Shop. I have also, I believe, ordered some from 123 Stitch, and I have a lot in my old stash. And so I usually get the white or the lightest color because I know where I'm starting when I'm dyeing. So, Kathy, I hope that answers your question. Carolyn DeLong asked, last time I was talking about where I was ordering supplies from, and she just reminded me, and I wanted to let you guys know that I do order from Fat Quarter Shop, I do order from 123 Stitch, but I also order from some of the smaller places as well. The one I probably order the most from is the Silver Needle in Tulsa, and they are just wonderful. I cannot possibly recommend them highly enough. If anything comes up that I've ordered that they either are out of or they have a question, they call me, and I can just I can recommend them very, very highly. And like I said, I don't have a local needlework shop. There is one store in town. I haven't checked them since everything shut down because they have one wall of overdyed floss, and they carry Weeks and General Art and Classic Colorworks. They don't have it. I'm not sure if they don't carry every one of all of those brands, but usually when I go in, if I have a list, I can usually find about half of what I'm looking for. So that's the only place in town that I can get any needlework supplies, besides Hobby Lobby and Joann's and Michael's. There are, I know there are other brick and mortar places to buy from. I think we have ours that we tend to go to, and for me, as far as a brick and mortar place, Silver Needle is the one I usually order from. In fact, I got an order from Silver Needle today. But Carolyn, thank you for reminding us about those brick and mortar places. Joanne B asked, let's see, she said, love your dyed fabric. I have only coffee tea dyed. The camel fabric is to die for it. I love the way she put that. Did you go by Priscilla and Chelsea's video? How did you get such beautiful modeling? I did watch Priscilla and Chelsea's video, and it gave me the courage to go out and start dyeing my own fabric. I also watched Farm Girl, and Farm Girl Loves Goats, um, and I kind of mixed those two together and sort of um, just sort of found my own way on dyeing the fabric. And someone else asked if I would do I can't remember where, I'll figure out who it was. Somebody asked me to do a tutorial. Um, I could, I don't know, if you guys are interested in that, I could try to do that. There are some really good videos out there, so I'm not sure another one is necessary. But I don't know if the way I scrunch my fabric up or what is why the modeling comes off so well. But it doesn't always. In fact, I'm going to show you a piece here that in a minute that I had to dye again because it didn't work, and it doesn't always work. So you want to make sure it's not your only piece of fabric that is going to be perfect for your project, because it may turn out and it may not. I have more hits than misses, but I've had some misses. So, but pretty much to answer your question, Joanne, I pretty much follow theirs, but I also mix it with some of Farm Girl and then also some of my own. So my own way of doing it. So that would be my answer to that one. Colleen from Stitching with the Sisterlies asked about my Derby House blocks that I showed in the last video. Yes, Colleen, all of those that were together, the stars and the bird applique block, those are all Derby House. They're all in the same pattern. Kim asked, she was telling me about the Moda blockheads, which I'll show you my blockheads blocks in a minute. She asked if I knew that if Joanna from Fig Tree had provided an alternative block, because a couple of the ones early on I didn't particularly want to do. And yes, I definitely, Kim, I knew that that Joanna had done one, and also Sherry McConnell. Sherry McConnell from Sherry and Chelsea also did an alternative one, and I may do Sherry's. I probably won't do the house block that Joanna did, but I'm very excited because Joanna is doing the block this week. I probably won't do that one because I'm planning on doing a house block quilt, and I don't know if I want to just do another house block or not. But yes, thanks for reminding me. But yes, Joanna did an alternate block. And then finally, Wendy Banta asked about Rabbit Run, and I will show you Rabbit Run in just a minute. And she liked the fabric and asked if I was only RIT dyeing. And on that particular one, yes. In fact, most of my RIT dyes I have not added coffee tea dye on top of. I may at some point try that, but right now, if I RIT dye it, I'm pretty much just sticking with RIT dye. So thanks for those questions. As far as, I'm going to have to scoot back a little bit. Sorry, guys. Finishes. Since my last video, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw this, but this is Prairie Schooler Rabbit Run. I just loved this one. This fabric was RIT dyed. This is Monaco, and it was 28 count Monaco. I think it probably ends up a little bit smaller than that, maybe closer to 30. And this is over 2. I used 2/2. But because you use hot water with the RIT dye, I think it shrinks it just a little bit, and it is 100% cotton, so I'm sure it shrinks just a little bit. But you can probably see the modeling a little bit better here. But there it is. There's Rabbit Run. This guy right here is my absolute favorite. I love him. I think he's precious. I used all the called for DMC, and it's a very simple chart. And once I started on this one, I couldn't stop. I dropped everything else to work on it. I was hoping to have it finished by Easter, and I did have the stitching finished. In fact, I finished it more than a week ago, I think. But I have not finished it because I simply don't have anything that just grabs me when I look in all my stash of stuff, which is not a huge stash as far as finishing supplies go. I just don't have anything that really makes me, really excited to finish it. So when everything is back to normal, I will find something with which to finish it, and I will show you when I'm done, or when I FFO it. But for now, Rabbit Run. As far as WIPs, I am working on Prim Village by It's So Emma and Lori Holt. And this fabric is also Rit dyed. See, there we go. It's a little breezy out here today. Okay, there it is. I am stitching mine all in one row. I'm not putting rows on top of each other. I've still got a green house, an orange house, and maybe kind of a plum colored house to do. And I will also add that row of quilt blocks below here. This fabric, again, you can probably see it better here. This was also Rit dyed using camel, which I really, really liked this one. And this, I believe, was, I put a note on the back here. Let me make sure I tell you correctly. It was Antique White Monaco that I started with, and I used camel. Using my own DMC conversion on that. The called for colors were very pretty, but not something that would probably go with all of my decor. So I went for, rather than the bright colors that are called for in this one, I went more, I would call them richer colors, maybe a little bit darker. So hopefully, I'm trying to stay up with Kimberly on that one, but I will finish, if I keep up one house a week, I should finish a little bit ahead because I won't be stitching as many houses overall on my piece. The most I'll stitch is 8, and I may just stitch 7. Okay, next piece that I'm working on, and I'm sorry I should have taken these out before I started. Sorry for all the crunching going on. This is Woolly Estate by Teresa Kogut, and I have a thing for sheep. I love sheep. This is a piece of linen. I just call it my mystery linen. I found it in my stash. It had no notes on it or anything of what it was, what the count was. It's about 36 count. And 36 count is that in between. Do you use 1 strand or do you use 2 strands? 2 looks too many. Sorry about the plane overhead. I live very close to the airport. 1 is too, probably not enough. 2 is really too much. I went with 1. I kind of wish I had dyed it first, but since it's solid stitching, um, can you see him? Yeah, there he is. It's solid stitching. So I did not dye the fabric first. I kind of wish I had. If for no other reason, I have not dyed linen yet. I've only dyed Monaco and Lugana. So this would have been a really good time to try that, but I didn't do it. So too late now. But I have several other Teresa Kogut's that I really want to get to. But this solid stitching takes forever. It absolutely takes forever. The little sheep, I've probably spent 5 or 6 hours at least on him. And he's not really even that big, but it just takes forever. I am using the called for floss in that chart. I am also working on Quaker Christmas WIP by Bygone Stitches. And the way I have it set up, I don't have, there we go. Upside down. Quaker Christmas WIP, Bygone Stitches. Love it, love it, love it. Trying to make sure the stuff doesn't go flying. This is 32 count Lugana that I dyed with taupe, Rit dye taupe. And this is what I have so far. This is the first time I've ever done a Quaker sampler, and I absolutely love it. I love that I can do a piece at a time, and I can choose a small one if I only have a little bit of time to stitch. I can choose a larger one if I have more time. The one that I did just a couple of nights ago was this one, and it's just so pretty and lacy. I absolutely love that one. I am not using the called for floss. I am using cherry cobbler and steamed broccoli from Classic Colorworks, and I really do like it. And again, if you want to see, trying to make sure, sorry about that, see if you can see without the sun, Rit dyed taupe. This is a very large piece. Well, the stitch piece itself is very large, but this piece of fabric is like a half yard, and so it is very big. I don't think I will end up using all of it or needing all of it, but I've got plenty. I just have to show you. I mean, that to me is just so pretty. That is just a bundle of beauty right there. Cherry cobbler and steamed broccoli. Okay. I've got 2 more stitching WIPs. The next one is Anniversaries of the Heart by Blackbird Designs, and I'm stitching this with Olivia of Pumpkin Hollow Quilts and Deborah Canopied Stitches, and I'm on the March design. I am behind. Yes, I am. I did really well for the first 2 months, and then I started falling behind, but I'm okay. I don't have to finish it all in a year, but I am not going to stitch these words. March is one of the only months that I pretty much know what I'm going to, the personalization that I'm going to do. My grandmother was born in March, and so I'm going to put her information, her birth date and such in there. So there we go. I've got that much done. I did all of the the light color on the plaid last night, or most of it. I had some of it done before, but I finished it up last night. And there's the whole piece. Let's see if we can get that all in there. Yes. So this is 40 count. I did not dye this. This is Winter Brew by R&R. And it is absolutely beautiful to stitch on. It's the first time I've ever stitched on 40 count, and it is a dream, an absolute dream to stitch on. My last WIP, do that like that so it doesn't blow away. I am using, I will show you, this beautiful bag by Jennifer, the Calculated Stitcher. Love this bag, love this bag. Votes for Women, 100th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment. And this is our Stitch Along Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street Samplers. And mine so far, there it is here. Yep, there we go. And I have finished the front of the house and started on the roof. And here's what you get when you're watching TV and stitching at the same time. This chimney I screwed up on. It was supposed to come down here and meet with this little cross piece here. And I didn't do it because I stitched the brown first, and I stitched the brown all the way across. So, oh well, this chimney is on the back of the house instead of on the front. But we're good with that. We are not ripping it out. It is fine. It will work fine. So, Cinnamon Stars, one of my favorite pieces. I'm trying to make sure I get to that one at least once a week. I'm not in any hurry to finish because I feel like I have until fall to do it. And that one, it's in my Votes for Women bag, because on the back side, on the other side of that fabric, I was working on Suffrage Act. And I finished up Suffrage Act and showed it to you last time. But just in case you were wondering, that's the reason I just never moved Cinnamon Stars out of there. They were both in that bag. So, and I'm so excited because I ordered a bag from, a project bag from Goose, and it is on its way. I was hoping it would be here by today, but not yet. It will be here sometime this week. It's a patriotic bag, and 4th of July, summer, wonderful, love, love, love. Okay, haul. Yeah, when I'm sitting at home, nothing besides work, in the evenings, if I'm not stitching, I'm looking at shops online. Bad combination. But let me show you what I got. All Joys for Thine by Blackbird. I mean, it's Blackbird. Come on. Blackbird is one of my very favorites. I'm not sure I have a favorite, but Blackbird would definitely be at the top, in the top 3, definitely. I saw Nicole from Nicole's Needlework on her Flosstube. She did this one really quickly, and it was absolutely gorgeous, and I ordered it after I saw hers. I have this thing for Plum Street's big samplers. This is Heritage Sampler. I love it. It's got Abraham Lincoln here, and I guess that's Mary Todd. We've got the White House, Washington crossing the Delaware. There's some pilgrims. I just love this one. Don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I now have it. Also, I found this one, and I don't know if this one's new, but it's Indigo Lane, and it's Quaker. It's got the Quaker look to it up here. And it's blue, and blue is my favorite color. So I had to order this one. It's by Brenda Gervais. And another one, let's see, what do we want to go with? Another one from Blackbird. I don't know if you saw Brenda from Brenda and the Cereal Starter. They did a Blackbird, like just everything Blackbird a couple of videos ago, and she showed all of her little mini stockings. Oh my goodness, they're adorable, they're wonderful. So now I've started to collect the stocking little leaflets, and I actually had another one and I didn't bring it with me. I'll show you next time. Whoops. Harvest. So we got this one with the leaves, and then each one of them has 3, and this one has a couple others here on the back. And you know, they're not necessarily just fall. I think you could change the colors of them, especially this little one down here, and you could use it for other seasons as well. And then again, 4th of July, my favorite. Patriotic, like you've got this beautiful one with the rose, and then this one with the flag and the house. But you know, this one right here, which I absolutely love, the quilt pattern, the sawtooth stars, I guess, sort of, maybe, but the stars here, quilt stars. Again, change the colors up, and it's any season. All right, and then last but not least, by With a Needle and Thread, Souvenirs of the Heart. Again, it's patriotic, and it's time to start stitching patriotic stuff. So I got that one, and I'll get back to that. Okay, one other piece of haul, and that is I ordered this from Fat Quarter Shop last week, or maybe the week before, when they had 20% off for this book. Kimberly did a trunk show with all of the quilts from this book, and there's a couple in here that I just really loved, and it's 2468. It kind of sounds sporty, and then it's even got a basketball here on the front. It's really, whoa, there goes everything. A little breezy. All of the quilts have like sporty type titles, but they're really not. Like this one, for instance. This one is I mean, it looks like a baby quilt. This one is a little purse, a little tote. I love that. I'm not sure I would make a tote out of it, but I might make a pillow. So there's really just some really nice, and red and white. That's a table runner, but I would probably make like a wall hanging, something bigger, a little bit bigger, maybe a throw. But some beautiful stuff in this new quilt book by Moda. I wanted really quickly to show you some dyeing that I had done a couple of videos back. Again, I'm sorry, trying to get out of the sun here. I showed you a piece of fabric that I had dyed that didn't go well. And like I said, it doesn't always go well. So I said I was going to try again, and I did. And I knew that Kimberly, in her video last week, and I think, no, it wasn't Kimberly, it was Priscilla and Chelsea on Saturday, said that the new Chalkful would be hitting the stores this week, and so I'm in the Chalkful Club at Fat Quarter Shop. So hopefully by the end of this week or early next week, I will have the new Chalkful. And it seems like Kathy and maybe it was Kathy Haberman from Hands On Design, who does the Chalkful with Priscilla. She gave a little hint a week or so ago, and it seemed like it had daisies on it. And if it has daisies, I will drop everything and stitch it. I love daisies. Daisies are my favorite flower. But I knew that, of course, it's going to go on black. Well, the Aida that comes with the chart, it's okay, but Aida's not my favorite. It's kind of stiff, and I like my fabric to be a little bit softer. I also like something that's a little more coverage. Aida has the holes in it. I'm not knocking Aida. I've used it before, and I am using it on I am using it on the Fat Quarter Shops. Sorry, words. You guys are probably screaming it at me. Their charity stitch along. I'm using Aida for that one. I didn't bring it out because I haven't done the latest one yet, but so I do use Aida occasionally, but I wanted something different for this next Chalkful. So I had black Rit dye, and I had that piece of fabric, and I will try to insert I did take a picture of it before I re-dyed it, so if I can insert the picture, I will do that here. A couple of nights ago, I decided that I wanted to try to dye over that one that didn't work well, and this is where we are. Okay, let's see if I can get this. There we go. This is black, and it looks a little bit lighter in the picture than it actually is. It really did come out a nice black. There's some modeling in it, and so to me this looks very chalkboardish. I'm going to show you the other side as well, because it's a little bit different on both sides. Just the way it is sitting in the dye, I suppose. This did take dyeing it 3 times, and that is dyeing it 3 times with the black. The first time it was very, very light. The second time it came out, I'll be honest with you, it came out a beautiful gray color, a darker gray, darker than Rabbit Run, but it was beautiful. And if I hadn't really, really wanted the black for the Chalkful, I would have kept it like that. But because I wanted it for Chalkful, I went ahead and dyed it again, and so it did come out like this. So, but it took 3 times, and twice I let it set for at least a half an hour in the dye to get it this dark. But I'm really, really pleased with it. The other thing I wanted to show you, as far as dyeing goes, I just took a little piece of this. This is some of the plaid Lugana that you can get at Fat Quarter Shop. And I stitched, if you go back to one of my videos, I stitched Harvest Wishes and Pumpkin Kisses on this fabric before I dyed it. This is a gray and basically white, and I just wondered what would happen if I dyed that. And this is what happens. And I just dunked it in the dye and took it back out because it was a little piece. I was just testing it. But I love this. I absolutely love this. I don't know what I'm going to stitch on it, if I'll stitch anything on it. But I've got a bigger piece that I can use if I decide to do something with it. But if you've got some of this fabric, give it a shot. And this was a gray plaid to begin with, so, and I overdyed it with, it was black, the black dye, but like I said, it comes out very light gray the first time. So I just thought that was really cool. All right, quilting WIPs really fast because this is getting really long. My block for Sherry McConnell's block of the month. This is, sorry, it's getting a little breezy. This is her block for April. And if you want to see the rest of my blocks, those are on my Instagram. And someone pointed out last time that my Instagram link was incorrect, and so I fixed that. But you can see the rest of my blocks, and I'll put a link to Sherry's blog. So if you're interested in doing that, she has patterns for 6, 12, and 18-inch blocks. I'm doing the 12-inch blocks. And then finally, this is Moda Blockheads. I did receive my Derby House block of the month from Fat Quarter Shop, but I have not had time. Okay, I scooted a little farther back so we get away from the sun. But the last 2 blocks, this is block 12. I'll put it up there. There we go. Block 12 from Moda Blockheads. This is Janet Claire. And then this is block 13. This one was by Jen Kingwell. This one is paper pieced. And I wouldn't say I love paper piecing, but I like it, and I like the precision of it, and I say that, and somehow, even though everything is sewn on the lines, this is a tiny bit off, right here, but that's okay. But I'm going to leave the paper on here because that's what I usually do when I paper piece until I'm ready to put everything together. Okay, last thing for today is I am very, very blessed in that I have gone over 1,000 subscribers. And I just want to let you all know how much I appreciate the fact that you come back to my channel with every time I post. You are so kind and so generous with your compliments, and you just keep coming back for more. So I want to say thank you by doing a giveaway, and this is the giveaway. This is one of With Thy Needle and Thread, one of their new market releases, Souvenirs of the Heart. I figured this one, we're getting ready for summertime, and it just seemed like the perfect one to give away. So, a couple of things. You must be a subscriber and like the video. Sorry, loud bird. You must be a subscriber, like the video, and I'm sorry. Right now, because of getting things out and all, I'm not sure that I would be able to send outside the United States. So, United States address. And if in your comment, please don't use the word giveaway or win or anything like that. But in a comment below, tell me, let's see, tell me what you're stitching during quarantine. If it's a cross-stitching project or a quilting project, or if you're not a stitcher necessarily, what are you doing with your family? But basically, what are you stitching and during this incredibly unusual time in our history? Hopefully, it's not going to last much longer. Hopefully, by summertime, we will all be out and this will be behind us. So answer the question and don't say giveaway or win or anything like that. Be a subscriber, like the video, and have a U.S. address. In the meantime, until I see you again, I hope everyone has a wonderful week. I hope you have lots of stitching time. I hope you're all staying well. And I hope that you are very, very blessed and being able to spend some time, some extra time with family.